All right. Well, thank you very much. We are here with Damien. We are going to talk about how to create an agency, how to create a PPC agency in this case, and well, to learn more about Damien history and how he did it, and how is the business, what type of clients they work with, and some things that we chat along. So, thank you, Damien. How you doing?
All right. No, thank you.
All right. Well, first things first. Where are you based?
We're based in Northern Ireland, so
Okay.
yeah, and a lot of our clients are in North and the South of Ireland.
Okay. And you started this business how long ago? How long?
We started our first business together. I work with my wife. We got made redundant a month before our first child was due to be born, and she is now 20. So yeah, it actually started with that. We started a maternity clothes company. My wife couldn't find any maternity clothes at the time in Northern Ireland, and she wanted to open a shop. And I said, no way, we live in a small town. Let's do it online. So we did. We built the business online, built the site, did all that sort of stuff. I had a background in web design, and we built it into kind of like the number one ranking site in the UK. And we were running Google Ads at the time. We were doing some really, really cool stuff. And the reason it worked was because we had no money. So we had to do it all ourselves. So we had to learn, and we were competing with people who had a lot more money. So we had to do it better. And we were running things like split testing, and back then it was very unheard of. We were doing personas on our website. We built our website with the personas of the girls from Friends because they all had different personality types, and that let us bring down conversion rates or bring down return rates. So we did all that kind of stuff. And then our business, basically, we ended up looking to move to Portugal. So we became an affiliate business. But then a bunch of our customers went bankrupt as we were moving over there with our kids when we were younger. And we went, this isn't for us. It was too much. But we realized the thing that we did most, like we didn't really care about maternity clothes at that stage. It was the marketing that we loved. It was the ads. It was the building content. It was the fact that was what we were good at. So we took what we learned from that, and then we started doing it for other businesses. And we used to do everything. We used to do web design, SEO, PPC, the entire lot. And then over time, we narrowed and narrowed and narrowed. And this is where we are now. So we've been kind of going. That was 20 years ago we started our first business, and it's been a journey since then.
Okay, no, fantastic. This is normally. This is a very good story, and this is very good. I think for everyone out there, to listen. That things normally are something you like doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you are good doing it. Obviously, you need to have some skills, but it's very good that you focus. The things you were doing. Okay, web development, you get rid of that, at some point. Web design, you get rid of that, and you focus on PPC, we can say that's the...
We've started dropping things more and more. So we do Facebook ads for our clients, but we tend to not advertise that at all. We do other stuff for our clients. We don't advertise any of that stuff. We'll only do it for clients that we currently have. And even that I'm starting to try and get more away from, and just stick literally to the PPC, because it's becoming more and more specialized. And I think when you do something like that, you can provide sometimes a better service for people, because you're able to produce processes that you can then apply again and again. And what you learn from one client, you tend to learn from others. You can apply to others and that side of stuff.
Just to be clear, PPC means
Google Ads. Google Ads, pretty much primarily Google Ads.
Okay. You don't do Meta, you don't do Facebook.
We do Meta.
That's another game. No, let's say.
Yeah, we do Meta for our clients, and we have done for years, but we don't advertise it. We don't tell anybody. If our clients really ask us to do it, we'll do it, and we do well at it. But again, it's a different skill set, and what we're finding as the further we go forward in our business, and we kind of we figured out who we are, but it's making the decision of what kind of business we want, and we know the kind of customers we want, and we know the things that we do really, really well. So we're better off. We don't need huge amounts of customers for us to have a really good life, and our customers tend not to leave us. So what we're better off doing is producing customers that we can serve best and they serve us best at the same time. But it's taken a long time to get the confidence to say no to customers, because normally you just say yes to everything.
No, that's very good. And well, I mean, I will say it's normal when you are starting. I mean, let's say you are starting your agency, you take everything.
You take
Everything that
whatever
comes,
you can. It doesn't matter.
you take it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, okay, fine. Let's do Meta, let's do
Mhm.
Google, let's do
Yeah.
SEO. I mean,
We need to pay the
over
bills.
time, you narrow and you focus on what you enjoy, what you are good at, and etc. I think
Yeah, with experience and with reputation, which you can only build by doing,
yeah.
it gives you the freedom to narrow. It gives you more choice.
Okay, no, that's fantastic. Just to go a few steps back, why you think Meta and Google are so different? Why you think are different skills, different everything?
I think it's different ends of marketing. So like I study a lot of marketing and I love it, but there's intent marketing and interruption marketing is kind of the way I see it. Intent marketing, for the majority of a lot of what you're doing on Google, people have shown intent. They're actively searching for your products and services, and then you're speaking to them. With a lot of Meta advertising, it's interruption marketing. They're looking to escape for their life on Facebook, and you're looking to butt in with something interesting enough. And yes, you're tracking what they've done, and you're showing some intent that they've seen, and you're using information about them. But it's not like they're actively using Meta to search for somebody to a lawyer or a solicitor or something like that. So it depends on what you do. We have some products, or some of our clients are actually really suited to that, because it's more of a platform. I think it's very good for entertaining products and education. If you have a product that people don't really know that they need or want, then a lot of the Google side stuff isn't necessarily that great for that. But yeah, it's to do with kind of intent, I think. Is a big difference in kind of like the two platforms for me.
Yeah, no, I mean 100% agreed. I think Meta is more discovery, is more, hey, I didn't know this exists, no?
Yeah.
Or hey, I didn't know I need that, no? Or I was
Yeah.
wondering, what is the solution for this problem? No, it's more that funnel, or no, that more
100%.
sequence. Yeah, and Google is more, I know I need
Yeah, they're
these
further down the
tools.
funnel.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
With Google, it's a lot more about not just the right people. There's a lot more emphasis on your website with Google, and your conversion funnels on your website, and what you do when you get there as well. Whereas Facebook tends to be a little bit more of an on-platform advertising as well. You need to do a lot of the heavy lifting on platform before you get them off platform.
yeah, you mean probably a video, no?
Yeah,
Probably
video and that side of stuff. And often you're recording your leads on Facebook. They tend to work better. Or or you're building an audience on Facebook, and then you're remarketing to get them off platform. Whereas the audience, in many ways, because the intent's already there, is already built in Google. So you're almost moving them to your own platform faster.
Yeah, no, that's also true. I mean, this is something that we normally receive. Users, I mean, agencies from Facebook, they normally try to get the lead in Facebook. Like the lead happens, I mean, the lead generation happens directly on Facebook, and that's something.
It's the thing with most social media programs. They don't like people leaving the program or the platform. So the majority of Facebook users and Instagram users, they use it on their phone. In order to follow a link, they need to exit the program to go and look at it. So even with LinkedIn and stuff like that, it's much the same. So yeah, and it's just different styles, and this is the stuff that, I don't know, for my mind, I enjoy the Google Ads side of stuff more, and we tend to, now we're doing what we like more, which is a good thing.
No, that's fantastic, and I think is the way to go. I mean, you learn. I mean, this is, I think, is good for everyone to. I mean, test Facebook, test Google,
Yeah,
and
100%.
maybe you feel more comfortable with Facebook for whatever reason. Maybe
I
you
couldn't
feel
agree
more.
more. And it is that idea of like, we've been doing this for a long time. And also, I'm not I'm 50, so I have a different mindset to somebody who is maybe younger. I'm at the stage now where I'm happy just to be really good at one thing and enjoy doing that one thing. Whereas, and it's taken a while to get to that place of trying all these different platforms and, finding out that this is the one I like the most.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So that was your, let's say, in terms of what you do. This is what you do. You have a website. The website, I was sharing it here. So just in case someone
My website
wants
is
to.
terrible.
Well,
we
just
could
in
go
case,
into that as well.
but just in case someone wants to check what you do,
Course.
and let's say, something that also people wonder how that happens. How you find your first clients? How you find new clients? What is the process for you?
Okay, so initially I started off with I went to local networking events. So BNI was one that was actually really good because you don't know where to start. I was knocking on people's doors, going around industrial places, just doing whatever I could, and I would take on any work whatsoever. And then I joined a networking group, which taught me the power of networking. And Northern Ireland is a bit of an unusual place. It's very insular, maybe. People do business with people they know more so than other places. Everybody knows somebody, and your reputation's everything. And once I started getting business, then it kind of grew from there. But it was BNI was probably a really good starting point, and within there, I found people that I resonated with really, really well. That we worked well together, and that was years ago now, and I'm still doing business with them. And it's not necessarily the people that were in my local chapter. It's sometimes you just vibe with somebody and you both get it. So there's a web designer there, and he's amazing at what he does, and that's really important to me because I don't want to work with a terrible website. He's very interested in conversions. This guy called Stephen McKechnie. He's amazing. In fact, I can put you in contact if you want. But he's an absolutely great guy, and he's the kind of person that if I poke a hole at a website, which I do, he's like, brilliant. We how are we going to fix it? So we do loads of work together, and that relationship has really helped. If I find clients, I tend to hand them off to him because I actually know now through learning networking that I'm lending him my reputation. I need to trust him enough with that reputation, and vice versa. And then it takes a while to build those relationships. And that's probably one of the most important things, particularly for Northern Ireland where I am, is building those relationships. We get nearly all of our business now from word of mouth. We have our clients are always saying, hey, you want, because we also have a different policy as well. We'll never take on two clients that compete ever. Okay. So for example, we have a cleaning company that works in Northern Ireland. He knows it doesn't matter what happens, we'll never take on anybody that will clash in any shape or form. But he gives me loads of cleaning companies in England because he's like, this guy's really great. He knows what he's doing, and that happens.
But that's something you share with your clients, like, hey, if I take you, I'm not 100%. Taking any other.
I will never. It's because what we do, like the way and lots of people don't see it the same, but the way I see it is I'm down in the trenches fighting. I am doing everything I can to bring business to our clients, and it's part of the model and how we do business is which we'll probably talk about in a second. That means that I need to drive results for my clients. So I can't fight myself. I can't be looking at, here's the other ads that are there. This is what they're doing. How can I do it better? Here's their landing page. Here's my landing page. How can I get that landing page improved? Like, I can't do that. I like just I've had plenty of opportunity to do it, but in good conscience, I couldn't do that. And reputation, saying no to people has helped my reputation. But also it's nice that our clients trust us.
No, that's. I think you mentioned two things that are important. Not word of mouth. That I think that's key, and the second, not to be to really marry it, with your clients, not to really, okay, we are going to work together, as long as you want. But if I work with you, I'm with you 100%. I'm not taking any other business that competes with you, and we are going to be together.
100%.
Okay, but that means your clients are mostly local clients. You work with
mainly we've got clients in England, but mainly our clients are in Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland.
Okay.
And again, most of them have come from word of mouth or people that we know, because like we don't do advertising. Our website is, I'm embarrassed. It should be so much better. I mean, actually in the process of building out a training, marketing training and some AI training for people. So we've got a new site that we'll be launching, but it's one of those things that you often find that because like I had a call the other day from somebody who I spoke to 3 years ago or 4 years ago. I don't do sales follow-ups or anything like that. I don't do any hard selling. And they'll phone up and say, look, we spoke to you, we're ready to go now. And also we do something else, which I think is interesting, is we turn down clients. So we would turn down maybe 2 out of 3 clients if we don't feel it's a right fit. And that changes the entire relationship of the phone call that you have with people, because it ceases being them choosing us. It becomes, it's not an interview, it's a two-way conversation of seeing whether we're a good fit. And that kind of like changes. Like there's very few clients I speak to the phone who don't say, can we start? And that's, you know, come from really understanding who we are. And that's probably another thing to drill into, because I think there's something that we do. I don't know if lots of people do it that helps is, for us, we don't do any contracts, any long-term contracts at all. So most of our work, or a lot of our work, is massively front-loaded. I build campaigns properly, so a lot of my work is in tracking and understanding and research and building out the campaigns. So if we have a customer that comes with us, and also the other thing I do is all of the work we do is on clients' accounts, so that if ever we part company, they own all the data, they own everything we do. I think it's important that, because they're paying for an education with Google Ads, that they own the education that they've paid for. So I come into the relationship with a certain amount of risk. And they know this in the first interview, and I don't really have filters, so I tell them very clear that I won't take you on if I don't think you're going to be with us for a long time, because in them first 3 months, it's not worth me taking you on for 3 months, because you get all of the work and you get to walk away with it. So I'm very careful about that. So I'm under pressure from the start to deliver results and make myself free, because that's the first thing I want to do, is make ourselves free, so that we're the last thing that the company would ever think of getting rid of, because we're part of their business. So with that, it kind of changes the relationship from a service provider to a partner, and we're kind of like partners in each other's businesses. And that, again, I think, and I think it comes with time as well, is we've decided that as a company, we're not looking to be the biggest agency. We don't want 30 staff. It's myself and my wife. We probably might hire somebody again soon, but we're okay with where we are. We're not looking to grow to be the biggest. And that also takes off a pressure and lets you kind of build those relationships. You know, you're not looking at a pipeline of, I've got to call this person. And the other thing we always tell people is, we're not going to phone you back to ask you, you know, this is the call, we're going through it. If you want to deal with that, we'll discuss and say, well, you know, whether we feel like it's a good fit, and we'll go ahead, or we won't. And it's no issue. So it's
But let's say, I mean, for you, what are the questions, or what are the answers you will say make you, okay, this is not the right fit? Like, you think is the...
Now I'm learned to trust my gut. I still don't do it all the time. Whenever I've not done it, I've regretted it every single time. So I trust my gut. I also have kind of like red flags. So if people aren't getting back to me with information, that's an issue for me, because I need to know your business as well as that, as well as you do. Well, not as well as you do, but I need to understand your customers well. If people are, if I'm looking at the accounts and I'm thinking there's a good chance this might not work, I won't take on that client. I treat their money as if it was ours, because when we first started business, there was lots of people that took money off us that probably shouldn't, and we were very naive. So if I don't think it will work, or I think it's 50-50, I'll tell them from the very start that, you know, this is a very competitive market. I'll look at their websites and I'll see if they can take criticism, because again, their websites have to be spot on, and they need to understand the kind of the work we're going to do. And I need to like their business, and I need to like them. And these new levels have been added on as we've went forward. As we've got less and less need for clients, I've added them on because we're going to work together a lot. And I don't send our clients big complicated video or big complicated reports with loads of data. I tend to do a video report where I walk through the account and what I'm doing with them, because then they can see what's happening. People don't want to look at a load of data. So it's kind of and we tend to work with smaller businesses as well, small to medium businesses, because over COVID, I ended up sacking a bunch of clients that I really didn't like, and they were the big corporate clients. Although they pay more, they're very demanding. And like I work with a music shop down the south of Ireland, and we kept them open, helped keep them open through COVID. And that place has been open for like 60 years, and it's father and son. And that means more to me than anything else, And they're the kind of people that I love working with. And we kind of like punch well above our weights with what we do with our clients, which is really cool.
Yeah, and just to take a one step back, when you mention you don't like the business, that means, for example, you don't take let's say Bitcoin or trading.
Yeah. So if I don't agree with what they're doing, if I don't think they're giving a good service, if I see that the customer doesn't have a good reputation, then I won't take them on.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel a responsibility for that, because I'm the one going to be driving more business to them. So, and generally it's not so much of an issue, because again, a lot of our business now comes from word of mouth. And people will tend not to refer you people who are not that nice. But there has to be a connection, and I need to like the business, because I'm going to be dealing with that business an awful lot. It's not just a case of you set ads up now and off you go. There's a lot more to Google Ads now than there used to be, and it's a good thing.
But and also you mentioned if you think it's not going to work, that means you feel the PPC strategy is not the best for them. Or you feel
it's not about so basically, for PPC to work, you need to have a decent product. Okay, you have to have a decent offer, and you also have to have a market that you're able to go into. If you're going in with an average product to a kind of saturated market, then you're fighting at the bottom, and you're also fighting against people who've got maybe 5 years of data or 6 years of data. Their campaigns are going to run better than yours. You're not going to win that fight. Now, you might be able to run campaigns better. But that's going to be a long slog. And so again, if people don't have enough margin in their products to run, if their expectations are wrong, if they're like, okay, we only want to spend like 3% to acquire a client, then and you have people like that, and we also know kind of like during the journey we have with clients, there's going to be an education and how they change how they review it, because a lot of people, especially small businesses at the start, they view, I see this a lot, people view marketing as an expense instead of an investment. They view sales as an investment, but they view marketing as an expense. And part of the job of us is to train them that, that like with all our clients, we want to get them to the point that they don't care what they spend. And at the start, it's maybe some of it might be we only want to spend £400, which is not much at all. But in the end, we want to get them to a place where they don't care what they spend, because we've got them to the point of, if you want to spend £100 to get a client, £100, I'm happy with that. Okay, well, do you want one? Do you want two? Do you want 10? I want as many as I can. Okay, so you don't care what you spend anymore. It will naturally change. The fruit at the bottom of the tree is much easier to pick, so it'll get to a point where it stops being like that. But that's kind of like the way. But it takes a while with a lot of people, and some people never get there. Even when you're running amazing campaigns and you're sitting there going, if you increase money, you're going to make more money. They're like, no, we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, sometimes it depends of if you sell a physical product, there are some fixed costs that maybe can block you, to go full throttle. If you have a digital product, obviously you can go infinity, on spending. I mean, it's true there are considerations you need to, understand the business, as you mentioned, but just a rule of thumb for you. What's the percentage you will say should be allocated for campaigns based on the product price?
For me, it's every client is different. So I start off with 2 figures with clients. I ask them, what's the number which they're okay with? What's the number they're going to be happy with?
So, in terms of sales,
in terms of what they're willing to acquire a sale. So a lot of our business is lead gen, although we do have some e-com clients, and we're kind of like more and more looking at lead gen, because again, we're specializing within Google Ads now, as opposed to within lead gen, it's a case of saying, say you've got a solicitor, how much are you willing to pay to acquire a lead? Okay, that's the starting point. £100, say. How much would you be happy?
You make that question, no? You make
that
question.
Always. And we tend to find at the start, the questions that we ask are ones they've never really asked themselves. Okay. So a lot of the time it's just, we'll take a guess, and that's okay. We'll start there. We need a starting point. Because again, from my point of view, I'm looking for our services to be free. So I need to show them that we're generating the business for them in order for it to work. So I tend to ask, what is the price they're okay with and what's the price they're happy with? And maybe it's £100 for a lead. And you run campaigns for a month, 2 months, 3 months, you get them to that, and then you're fighting to get towards the other one. But then you start going, well, okay, it's always a journey. We then go to what's your conversion rates on leads? What's the quality of these leads? How do we then get that data? And it's always about how do you get more data to improve the campaigns as you go on. But that's always at the start. We ask a lot of difficult questions because it's important.
Just to try to narrow that number. Let's say my product is let's say it's a subscription to a gym, and the lifetime value, let's say, is £500. For you, the rule of thumb will be, okay, a good price per lead will be,
again, so this is entirely up to the customer. This is the way I say it. Is I always put it on them, and I'll try and direct them. So maybe it's £500. A gym's an interesting one, so maybe it's £500 lifetime value. Well, how much work does that put in? Okay, that's going to impact. You can't just say we'll pay 10% of that to acquire a customer, because it depends also at what stage of their business are they at. Are they at a growth stage in which they're willing to pay more? They need to get bums on seats, or are they at a stage where they're looking at efficiency? And that kind of brings you back to the campaigns. You view campaigns in those 2 formats. You can't really optimize completely for them both. So some campaigns you're optimizing for growth, and then you get to certain places where you're optimizing for efficiency. So it does depend. And we tend to have clients that every page on their website is worth a different amount to them. So we have a client who does sheds, but they do more than sheds. They do office buildings. They've done this one for us, for the garden and stuff like that. So every single conversion on their website, every lead is worth different amounts. And then you're playing. So with that client, you're not saying how much do you want to pay to acquire a customer. It's how much do you want to pay to acquire a lead for this product. And then for this one, and then this one. So it kind of like gets more and more complicated as you go on, but the principle is the same. I always leave it with them. I ask them the questions, then we start delivering. And when we start delivering, then we start refining. And it's always that process. It's not, okay, first of all, the only thing I can guarantee you is leads. I can't guarantee the quality of them until we start tracking them. And we tend to find that, again, that's something that customers never do. So we then start getting them to start tracking so that we can get better data. And it takes time, but they always know you're working for them.
No, that's fantastic. And it's very good what you mentioned about the price per lead. There are so many variables that you should not say 20% of your lifetime value. No. Let's see in which stage you are.
We've got people who have really amazing margins on products, and we have other people whose margins are a lot tighter. So that they're 2 entirely different campaigns. So it is dependent on kind of margins and that side of stuff.
Yeah, and also depends of if you are in growth mode or if you are not focusing
Yeah,
on
and
retention,
that,
maybe. Yeah.
completely. So yeah, some people, like, they've got a fixed budget, they need to deliver within certain stuff. So then for those campaigns, we're just constantly looking at how, how do we shave a little bit off here, and how do we shave a little bit off here, and
Yeah.
that side of stuff. How do we increase the conversion rate? How do we increase the quality? How do we, without increasing spend?
Okay. No, that's fantastic. And in terms of lead generation, I mean, there is always the not the debate, but with agencies, no, there is always some discussion in terms of, okay, who is responsible for closing the lead, no? Because at the end is the client, no, who is going to who needs to make the sale, no? Because okay, I give you leads, but you need to close them.
Yeah.
I mean, you share with them something, or you study what they do, or you advise them somehow.
Okay, so we have I have people that I know over here that are amazing at that, and there's a guy who I work with a lot. He's actually a really close friend. He's a business coach called Brendan Murphy. He's amazing, and he described it as his war chest. When he goes into a client, he doesn't advise people. He goes in with his war chest, and it's like, this is the best person at that. That is the best. Like, you're paying to get the people he knows, which are the best in the business, and when you have people like that you can then start to bring them to places where you can improve their sales process and that side of stuff. But we tend to see it happens almost automatically, because a lot of our companies are smaller businesses. They don't have people looking at them. They don't have people saying, hey, how is this going? Hey, did you follow this up? And they know that, like, they'll get the occasional calls from us on that side of stuff, or it's always that progression in data that requires more input as you go along, and that means you start moving to quality, and then you can start moving to things like actually uploading the amounts that the leads gave them, and then again, that's refining campaigns to another level. So yeah, it is up to them to close, and it's up to them to kind of report back. What happens is you never hear from people when things are going well.
that's that's true. When everything, if they are happy, it's like, yeah, fantastic. Oh, things are going. No worries, keep going. No.
Yeah.
When things go bad, it's like, Damien, what's happening?
Yeah, and that's good, and like, that's the way it should be. But yeah, it is the way it is.
No, fantastic. But for example, you advise them in terms of CRM or playbook or things like that, or you let them go?
It's a difficult thing, because I would love to have one CRM system that we could use. I'd love it and say, this is the best at lead gen, and I haven't found one. I haven't found one that plays really well with Google Ads, which is such a shame. Like, for example, this isn't to blow up chat with, but like that, I'm part of something called the PPC Hub, and the PPC Hub is amazing. It's not cheap. It's training for PPC professionals, and the guys there are so good. They're some of the best in the world, in my opinion, and it's loads of PPC professionals, so you can have open conversations. It's not a place with a scarcity mindset. It's everybody sharing what works best, and it's finding those best solutions. And I haven't found the best CRM system for any company, and mainly it's to do with tracking and that side of stuff. Some things are really good, but they're crazy expensive. But which is why I love Chat With, because it lets us actually, for WhatsApp, gives us data on who, how they actually contact, that they did contact. They didn't just click on something and then go to WhatsApp. We have an actual definitive contact there that we've captured, and data is everything. So I would love to have a reasonably priced Google Ads lead-based CRM. Like with some of our clients, we build out Google Sheets that the stuff automatically goes into, and then we'll pull that into Looker Studio reports and all that kind of stuff. It depends on who they are, but lots of people already have stuff that they already use. So
you find something, no? I mean, no? Normally
Yeah,
there is, no, maybe this is a Google Sheet, no, or maybe it's an Excel
yeah,
document. Okay,
yeah.
fine.
It's like we do an awful lot of stuff in Google Sheets, and within the Google platform. So we'll often do that, and we'll pull in the leads to that, because some clients will say we didn't get any leads, and it's not that, they just didn't think two of them were very good, and they got, so we need to look at quality and that side of stuff. So yeah, we're doing more of that recently.
No, sorry, keep going.
No. So
yeah. So in terms of CRM or playbook, is no. I mean, you work with them, but let's see what they have, and if they are happy.
I'd love to find something very simple for that played really well with Google Ads. I'm surprised there isn't one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there is a. I mean, it's true. For example, Hotspot is very good, but the moment you start to grow, becomes
Exactly.
Extremely expensive. I mean, for me, it's like crazy expensive. Like
Prohibitive.
1,000 a month is like, come on, guys. It's like, doesn't make any sense. No, it's like, and the others, PyDrive or things like that, for me, sometimes feel too technical for a small business. I mean, small business don't feel comfortable. There is too much jargon, not too many,
100%.
like keywords, too many. Yeah, I understand for them it's like, this is too much for me. No, I need. I share with you there is a space there for for something that should be simple enough, but should be useful.
Plays well with data.
Yeah. Okay. And in terms of, okay, so you find your clients, lead generation is your niche. Small businesses, big businesses, no, that doesn't matter. No, can be if there is a good fit.
No, it doesn't really matter to us as long as it's a good fit. That's the main thing. So, and we have clients that spend varying amounts, and we'll try and measure that up with the time that we spend on clients. Although we don't do an hour by hour thing, I have systems that kind of like flag if people haven't got the attention that I want them to get. But yeah, we varying sizes, and we have everything from solicitors to rocket scientists to literally to, which is bizarre, to music shops.
Okay.
There's a couple that do boxes for moving, and they're amazing. They're so nice. So yeah, it's across the board.
Okay. And your relation with Google Ads, how it's evolving, or how you see? I mean, do you feel the impact of AI in the performance? Because I mean there is a lot of changes in the, let's say, in the environment, in the search environment with the AI, and I don't know if you feel there is a change or.
Yeah, like what worked 2 years ago doesn't work now. What worked a year ago doesn't work now. And Google's been putting a lot of stuff in that is almost good, but it's learning as it goes. So like it brought in PMax campaigns, which are great campaigns, but really the big chunk of them is how they can get rid of loads and loads of their unsold real estate. But now we're starting to get more control on PMax, and they thought that everything would be automated, and that's not the case. So they're starting to give us back dials. We've got accounts with some beta features on that make PMax amazing again. So that's all happen. But also it is about staying up to date. I mentioned PPC Hub earlier on. The training they have is crazy, and it's so good being able to keep up to date and having other people help to keep you up to date. So we're looking now at, it's moved more and more from beforehand you just used to run search ads, that was it. Whereas now there's a lot more psychology involved, there's a lot more conversion marketing involved, there's a lot more thinking about customer profiles, what they're doing. Then you've got more about landing pages, and we do a lot more on landing page optimization, because it's not just what they do on Google. For us now, we're a lot more involved in what happens when they hit the page. Is the content on the page up to scratch? Is the conversion path on the page up to scratch? What are we hitting the right? And then we're looking at the pages and using things like Clarity to see what they do on the page, to see how we can improve that, because that impacts your quality score. So it's become more nuanced what you do within here, and AI is a big part to play in it. but it's the way to people see AI. I think AI is going to be an issue for an awful lot of people, but it can also be a really, really good tool. And it's like standing in the in by the ocean with your hands out, trying to stop it from coming in. I mean, it's coming in. you can you can get as annoyed as you want, but it is coming in. So
yeah, my take on the search summaries with AI. I mean, for me, it's like 90% was crap anyway. I mean, like what island is in Spain, no? Or what how to make a Spanish omelette, or I mean, fine. I mean, okay, those clicks are gone. Okay, so deal with that.
Like things will change.
Cheap marketing is gone. That's for sure.
Like things will change. It will evolve, but I think there's a good way to think about it. You've got two ways of looking at AI. Most people actually do treat it as if they're the passenger, but the fact is, you can be the driver, and that's when you start using it. So, like, we use it heavily for our clients, building custom GPTs for particular clients, so we can get really good copy. And it saves us lots and lots of time and lets us go into other stuff. But it only gives as good as you know how to use it. So, yeah, like it's there. It lets us build loads of stuff we couldn't have built beforehand. Custom tracking for websites that would normally have taken me an entire morning of pulling my hair out, as you can see. Like, I can get through that in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Here's this isn't working. Fact check this. This isn't working. Okay, why is this error message coming up in this piece of code? So it's there and it helps, and everything's going to change. Everything is going to change with how people use it, but maybe like we'll find out. We don't know. So as long as you're at the keeping towards the front of the queue when this stuff happens and you're embracing it, then you'll be okay, I think, until we're not. And then what you can do about it anyway.
and you mentioned something that is also interesting is the landing page optimization. For that, you use some tools on your own, or you use some WordPress theme you like, or I mean,
So we tend to work with web designers for this. So we'll look at there's different ways we do it. We'll work with a so with Steve and I'll actually get in contact and say, like, this page, how can we improve it? And we'll have a call and we'll go through it. This is what people are doing here. How can we stop that? Or for some people, will do wireframes on pages. Now, with a lot of our clients now, we've been updating pages for them. I really don't want to be doing that anymore, because it's some of those extras that you do can end up being the stuff that sucks 80% of your time when you should be. It's why I got rid of a lot of that stuff, was to specialize. So working with good web designers is really, really, really important for us. And that would be one of the bits of advice I would say is finding some people that you can trust and build that relationship with will, if you're doing PPC, will make a world of difference.
But for you, let's say you see the website of the client is not spot on, you tell them, hey, work with this guy or find someone else.
If they've already got a web designer they're working with, I do a lot of videos, and I'm autistic and I don't have filters. And I tell people that at the very start. So I'll be brutal with their websites as I go through. Okay. I won't look at their website before the phone call. So that's one of my policies. And I tell them that. I'll tell them that I haven't looked at your site. I always wait till you're on call so you can see my reaction to what I think. And I'll go through it. And if it's terrible, I'll rip holes in it. And I'll do it from a place of love, I suppose. But it's like, and as you do it and you speak it into words that people understand, they're like, that makes perfect sense. And then I'll look at it on mobile and I'll say, look, 80% of your clients are on mobile. Text. Are you going to read all of that? Like, what's the most important thing you've got to say? You've got that, just one of those to get their attention. Like and they're like, well, we need to fix this. Also, I will tell them that I will not run ads to their website. And they'll be, why? I go, because you're going to lose money. I can't work, like, if you want to run ads, this needs to be improved. And sometimes our first month or 2 months will be with them, working with a web designer, getting that stuff done. So yeah, so it does depend on people, but yeah, it's like we'll do very simple wireframes, picture here, text here, call to action here, pain point thing, you know, and then that will be handed over to web designers. We'll help build the content for those pages with clients sometimes as well. My wife's amazing with copy and that side of stuff. So yeah.
Okay, but I mean that's a step for you is required, no? I mean, let's get the website 100% done, and then
So because of the nature of our model and because we don't do long-term contracts, I don't care how much traffic your website gets. I care how many leads you get. And it's the way I always describe it to them is like you're pouring water into a bucket with holes in it. Okay, but the difference is I've lost him.
yeah, was me.
No worries.
Something happened. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Okay, we have a question here. Just to there was a break. I will.
Yeah. Oh, I've literally just seen the questions there. That's cool.
So here Cindy is asking, how do you recommend working on personal branding to attract Google Ads clients?
Okay, so
that's a very good question.
I'm probably a terrible person to do this, right? I know how to market and I should be on LinkedIn. I know that, and I don't, which is poor. But for me, I always with personal branding. This is an odd thing. I have this like complete honest. I found out I was autistic a while ago, and I use that now as my own unique selling point in many ways, that I don't have filters. I say things as they are. And I also have it that no matter who I speak to on the phone, what I do is I give them the very best advice. So often that advice is, we're not for you, but you should do this, this, and this. And I'll spend an hour with them. And what tends to happen with that is you start to build a reputation of somebody to be trusted. You start to build a reputation that, like, I won't say no to any phone calls, and I'll help them as much as I can. So you start then, like, because a lot of our business comes from word of mouth, you start being the person that people will put you in contact with. And we've found out through doing that sort of stuff that I'm getting business from somebody I spoke to 3 years ago that I told them isn't for us, but their best friend just started a business and they said, you need to speak to this man or these people. That has been one of the things that has been really powerful. The other thing has been networking. I've built a really strong network of people that I trust, and understanding how that works has been huge, particularly for Northern Ireland. It's been the biggest thing, and understanding that it's not about what you get, it's about what you can give. It's about how you can help people, and finding people that you think can help your clients, because then they will want to help you. I don't know whether I've answered that any good at all, Cindy. Please tell me if you want more. How do you recommend working?
No, that's perfect. No, I think but I think it's a very good question. I think your own brand is always something you need to try to work. But I think you need to be, let's say, yourself. If you pretend to be something else, it's hard to. It's hard to maintain. You can do it for a while, but it's going to fall apart
You'll be
at
miserable.
some point.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of lucky where I am because I'm older now, and I kind of know where I fit. My family, like my oldest is 20, my youngest is 18, and I'm not in a rush to bring on loads and loads. So I kind of like got to define who I am and define the kind of business I want. And you've seen kind of from what I've said, it's narrowed and narrowed over time. When you have that, it's a lot easier, I think. And that's only a place you can get to. It's not a place you can start from. When you have that, it's a lot easier to kind of like be clear with clients who you are and what you get. And I am, for our clients, or for everybody who knows us, I'm the guy who's going to be honest. I'm going to be a little bit blunt. I'm going to be very friendly. I'm going to tell people no, that it doesn't work. And I'll put them onto the right place for them, regardless of what's good for me. And also, I'm not going to do sales. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to do anything like that. And that stuff means that loads of people, whenever they've sent somebody to me, even when like 3 or 4 times out of 5, probably 4 times out of 5, it isn't for us, they went back to that person and went, oh, he was really, really good, and that's kind of like, I think, has been how our business has ended up being pretty much an entirely word of mouth business.
Yeah. No, that's 100% as it is. And I mean, we were chatting about AI. I mean, and Google is evolving in this madness of
this was actually an interesting point when we got cut off. We were talking about the website and how it needs to be right. So the way I describe it to our clients is it's like a bucket with holes in it, and you're pouring more water in it. But once you're using Google Ads, what you're actually doing is you're paying for Evian and you're pouring it into the bucket with holes in it. You need to fix those holes first, because unless you've got unlimited money, you fix those holes first, and then you put water in, and then you see if they're fixed. And then that's kind of like the journey. So that's why it's so important. And a website is never finished. It's like a salesperson. If it's not doing a job, it needs to be trained more.
Yeah. No, I think a website needs constant evolving and constant improvement.
So don't look at mine.
Yeah. No, and especially, I think, I mean, there is always, I mean, seasons, for example, is something you need to be on the season. Like it's back to school, it's Christmas, it's end of the year, etc., and so on. So, I mean, I think those are the minimum you need to be on. And then things happen in your city, things happen in your neighborhood, things happen in your country, things happen. I mean, you need to feel connected with your customers, on that sense. And hey, let's do a discount, let's do a promotion, let's do something that makes the user
change the images to fit more the season. Subtlety work matters.
No, and for you, I mean, how do you see Google Ads as a
let me switch cameras. Sorry. Boom. There's got to be settings. Okay, sorry, my camera died.
Don't worry.
Let me edit name, remove from stage, stop mic cam. Right, let me try something here. If not, I'll jump straight.
Yeah. In the meantime, I was showing you.
Yeah, I've got a good camera, but every now and then it just gets too hot. So I'm on the webcam now.
All right. Yeah, you can feel the difference.
Yeah.
The other one was spot on. No, fantastic.
I'll figure that out.
No, but just to, I mean, as an industry, how you see Google Ads, and how you see the customers, because I mean, obviously, I think everyone is understanding more and more. If you want to be there, you need to pay for it. I mean, like I think that's something that everyone is understanding. I mean, people is squeezing, no, every industry, every sector, and hey, if you want to, if you want clicks, you need to.
It's what Google has done brilliantly years ago was bring in things like quality score. It wants, its business is ads, so it wants you to click on them. But what it needs is it needs the distance. It needs you to get what you expect, and that has become more and more important. Now, because of that, people click on ads more and more. So that means that I think as long as that's happening, and I'm not saying that's a major industry shift isn't going to change that, but as long as that is happening, if you are running ads well, you will outperform the people around you. If you are looking at the whole thing and the landing pages and the copy and intent, and you're keeping up to date, and you're ensuring the most important thing is data by a distance, and you're understanding Tag Manager and how to build out tracking correctly and get more and more data in, as long as you are doing that better than other people, your campaigns will outperform them and you will pay less. So there are industries when you've got like cheap disposable products that just it's not going to work for. But if you have customers that have good products with unique selling points, and you can help them map out what is their USPs and what is going to be like their guarantees and removing worry and stuff like that, you will outperform other people, just period. So I'm not worried about that side of stuff. The one worry not worry, the one interest I have is what happens when people start using ChatGPT as a search engine. You know, what happens when they start using that to find their data?
Yeah.
Will that happen? I don't know. I don't know. Like that's the thing is, but you know, if it goes in that direction, you can be damn sure that Google will be ensuring that it stays in their direction. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that length of stuff, because that will develop. Whatever happens. It's just about being up to date, keeping yourself trained, and caring about your clients, so you actually push that little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think search on ChatGPT is going to increase anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean the
You see
size
it.
of Google is huge. So I mean, by any means, right now is not a harm, because
Yeah.
I mean, if you put together Gmail, YouTube, Google, I mean, it's like
crazy.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they have still resources to go along.
They have resources, they have the money.
Yeah, obviously, and I think what I think is the mix is going to be more interesting. I mean, I think there is going to be more fragmentation. I mean, obviously, I think was not healthy to be 90% of the market. I think that's not healthy by
100%.
anyone. That's almost a monopoly. I think now it's more interesting. Okay, you have social media, you have TikTok, you have things like that, and there is a bit more of fragmentation. There are alternatives. Hey, if you go too greedy, maybe I go somewhere else, no, with my money. So I think that's good for everyone, and competition also makes the elephant.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm again with this stuff. I've never been that worried about it's. You know, it really is up to you, kind of like where you sit in this, and it is about keeping yourself up to date and doing the best you can, and it's fun. Like that's one of the best things that we're fun. I'm very sad, but it's fun to kind of like. I get a lot of satisfaction about learning more and improving stuff. So you have all these little reward loops that you try something, it works great. Let me try that with someone else.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And just to finish, I mean, we are already 1 hour, and I mean, it's been fantastic, Damien. Thank you very much.
No worries.
I hope, I mean, these videos are for users who are starting or want to start an agency. Hey, this is a way to do it, and this is how you can do it. But what will be for you, like a few recommendations for someone who wants to start his own agency? Like, okay, let's try to do.
Okay. Right. at the very start, you're going to take any business you want. But I would say one of the things you want to invest some time in personally is building a network. That's a very hard thing to do. I found BNI very, very useful, which is around the world. A reason I found it useful is it taught me about networking.
Can you type the name,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
on the
BNI. Where am I?
chat? There are comments or chat in
Okay,
any.
so let me comments in chat. I need to connect. I think Damien.
Or there is a private chat that I think.
Okay, cool. So BNI. So this is like a networking organization around the world. I found it really useful. To be honest, I feel like I outgrew it for me, for where I went and the business went. But it taught me a lot about building networks and gave me a starting point with some people who were already in business. So I found that quite useful.
Will be this one, right?
Yeah.
This one is Spain, but it's because I'm in
Spain.
Spain.
It's all around the world. So I found that quite useful. Because I didn't have a clue. I had no clue about networks and what to do and what to join and what you could do, and that was good. It taught me a lot, and more importantly, it put me in contact with some people who are amazing friends now, and also have been amazing for my business, even though most of them are no longer in there either. And the training was good, so I found that for me really useful. The training, I would say, for yourself and your business, making sure you're very much up to date. I've said it a few times already about PPC Hub. I don't get anything for saying it. It's been a game changer for me. It is the best money I've ever spent on my business, because the training and the community on there has been so good. It's made me better at what I do.
This one, BNI.
PPC Hub. So here's another one here. PPC Hub. Okay, so and that's where I actually found out about chat with was from there. People saying that it was really good for recording stuff. PPC Hub is amazing. They do loads and loads of free stuff, but that is, I'm a member of that. I was one of the early members. I don't intend to ever leave because it gives me so much value. The training on there is next level. I mean, it's like.
But is this one, no? PPC Mastery?
Yeah. They only open it every now and then, but that has been the best investment I've made in myself, which has been great. Understanding the basics of marketing, but also understanding the different facets of Google Ads. Tracking is everything. Understanding tracking is massively important. For me, you're looking at kind of like breaking down the different areas that you can improve. So it's kind of like understanding customer intent, understanding copy, understanding the Google Ads platform, understanding conversion pages, understanding tracking, understanding reporting. All of those are vital parts and more important as we go forward. I forgot the question.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. And these two.
Yeah, BNI was great for me starting, even though I'm not a member anymore, because it taught me how to build a network, and I met some really good people that helped me establish my business. There are other networking things around there, but that was the one that I knew and I joined, and it was good for me. PPC Mastery, I bought some of their courses initially. The guys that run it are fantastic, amazing stuff on there. Like just really, I'm glad to be part of it. But the training is next level. Like it's shown me how much I didn't know, and that's a good thing. So and it's lots of minds are better than one. The other thing I'd say as well is, I think something's really harmful and people don't talk about it a lot when you're starting a business, is kind of like the difference between a scarcity mindset and a growth mindset. Lots of people, and I see it loads with Google Ads people, not in this group though. It's about me. How can I gather it all to me? How can I keep the stuff? How can I not give the client data? How can I get them caught in? How can I make it really hard for them to leave because I have all the, like, whereas I've taken the complete opposite approach, which is I give my advice for free. I help people as much as I can. I put all of their data on theirs so they can just cut it off in a second and say, like, there's no long-term contract, see you later, and they've got all my hard work. I I would put the chance on my clients, and they know it, and that has done nothing but help me. Is getting to the place where they understand that this isn't a I live off you relationship. This is we work together. It's a symbiotic relationship. I care about what happens to you because it matters to me, and that has been, really, really positive. Getting to that place where you're not worried about other people or other agencies. There is so much work out there, and so much of it is done terribly that, you'll take on accounts from big companies and go, they just didn't care. Like they just took the money and didn't care. So when you do care, that shows, and it attracts the kind of, like for us, it's attracted the kind of people that we like working with. Don't be frightened to sack clients either. If you're not enjoying with somebody, that is sucking the life out of you, your business. It's actually pulling time away from your other clients who are really valuable to you. Don't be frightened to say, hey, this isn't working, because that's been some of the best things I've ever done as well.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, when you are starting, sometimes it's like, hey, I need the money, for the rent. I need the money for groceries. I need the money to keep going. And, it's hard to cut out a client.
Yeah.
But I think it's what you're saying. I think it's more about, hey, focus on what you want to do, and maybe not now, but maybe a bit later on, you can get rid of,
the clients who you're having trouble with. They're the ones that when you look at them are taking up loads of your time, which means that they're taking time away from your other clients. They're the ones that you go to bed and they're in your head. Like that's not on. So like, if you have it in your head that I want to get rid of this client, have it in your head that the moment I get another client, I'm going to cut this relationship, and then I'll be exactly where I am, just better off. I found that really good. I've also found with some clients, once you've done that, their behavior changes immediately. If you say, look, this is, and sometimes that's all it takes, is the confidence for you to lay down the guidelines of the relationship.
No, and it's like that. It's sometimes say, this is not working, we need to fix this. I mean, a client is not your owner. I mean, a client is a person. I mean,
it's a relationship.
And you need to be able to, hey, I'm the service provider, fine, but hey, I want this to work for both of us, and let's see how we can fix. Sometimes it's someone in the team. I mean, sometimes you find someone toxic in the team of the client, and hey, I mean, that for example is very hard to talk about, no? But if you feel you have the time and the space with your client, maybe you can say, hey, we need to check what's happening here, because it's harming, what we do is harming the results, it's harming your revenue, is harming whatever. And just to finish, I want to how you pitch. Well, you don't pitch clients, but sometimes clients don't want to work with agencies. No, like they feel an agency is an outsider. They only want the money. What will be? I mean, because sometimes it's not. I prefer someone. I prefer to hire someone here. I mean, when you think it's a good moment to work with an agency, when it's not to work, when it's better to have someone inside.
Okay, if you're a large company and you've got somebody inside who's very, very good, then that makes sense. But that's not often the case, because somebody who's very, very good at Google Ads will earn a lot more money being a freelancer than working for a company, generally. I haven't had the issue so much, because in your initial meeting with somebody, when you're able to give them so much value, which is, again, with going back to that point, I'll tell them a bunch of stuff that they need to improve. Not like, if you come to me, we'll fix it. I'm saying this needs to change, this needs to change. I'll say, it doesn't matter who you go with, make sure you fix these things, because it will make your business better. That, when you're able to show value in that call, you're not holding back the good stuff. It seems like like a no-brainer for most people. That actually, I've been looking at this. We've had our marketing person looking at this for the last 6 months, and they haven't got any of this stuff. So like we work with a lot of companies where they have marketing people internally, but we still do their Google Ads, and the marketing people have been doing the Google Ads, but we end up doing the Google ads because it is so specialist.
Yeah.
And it's I would say it's, if you can get somebody good at it, it's almost always better to work nowadays with a Google Ads professional.
Yeah, with an specialist.
I don't think it's always the same with Facebook. I don't think it's the same with a lot of platforms. Google Ads will destroy your world if you do it wrong. It will take the money from your bank and give you nothing back. And it has come to a place where I'm having to study regularly, and I do this 24/7 to stay up to date. Somebody who's doing marketing in the company, it's going to be very hard for them to do that and be as good as me or somebody like me who's doing this all the time. So yeah, it's, and the other thing as well is if you're able to show somebody a profit, if you're able to show that you, like we always say, we want to be free as fast as possible. When you do that, people don't mind paying an agency.
Yeah. No, and I think it's very true what you said, that Google will take all your money if he can. No,
Yeah,
he will go to
not
your
care.
bank account and
Does not care.
Yeah. And you need to be extremely careful with your.
Like
with
we have so many clients that have come to us burnt from running their own campaigns. We've had somebody come who had somebody else run their campaigns and did it terribly and cost them a huge amount of money, which I was disgusted at. So like lots of people have bad agency experience, but yeah, like if you're good at what you do, you can kind of fix that.
Yeah. No, this is just, this is something that happens. You can spend 5,000 in a campaign and get 0. And what happens? We don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like that. And okay, 5,000, say goodbye. Not coming back.
And I think one of the things that helps us is the fact that when we started our maternity clothes company, so many people took money off us, and that really stuck with me. They took money off us and they charged us for services that were not worth a damn. And so I always kind of like, I treat people's money like it's my own. I've never had a client, generally very rarely have a client not happy to increase their spend because you're able to show a profit.
And we are talking about lead generation. That is even harder because if you do e-commerce, it's like very direct, no? Like you put more, you get more. Okay, fine. And in lead generation, that is extremely harder. You are able to do it. So fantastic. Okay, Damien. No, that's it's been amazing. Thank you very much.
It's been really cool.
It's been
and thank you, Cindy, for your question.
Yeah.
So no, I was just saying thank you, Cindy, for the question. So
fantastic. And really looking forward for your. You want to launch a training.
Yeah. So this has been something that's been on the cards for ages. We use AI massively, really, really heavily. Do a lot of stuff with ChatGPT, and people from our network have now started saying, from my business network, so I meet people once a month, we go for lunch, it's lovely, it's very little business is done, but and they've all been asking me, can you teach me? So I taught a couple of people, and it really made the world of difference to them. So we're going to add a little chunk onto our business, which is an AI training program made for small businesses. So it's made for our own client base, where it teaches them about how to use it, how to build custom GPTs, how to understand marketing better, how you can do that sort of stuff. It's not going to be a huge course, but I know it's really going to be useful for loads and loads of people that are my client base and my friends, the people that we work with, the clients base. So I should be launching that in the next month or 2 months. It'll be on our site, on our new site. And then the idea is I'm going to charge people for a year, but it's going to be updated constantly and grow and grow and grow. And then after that, they can spend on a monthly basis. But yeah, I'm excited to do it because I know the people who I've taught I taught them over 2 sessions. They were like, you've changed my life, because most small business owners don't know how to use this, and this is here and it can change how people do business. So and also a lot of the courses out there aren't really designed for small business users. They're much bigger than they need to be, and they're not to the point, and they don't give people what they need. So it'll be fun. I know there's a load of people that I know that will make use of it at the very least. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
No, fantastic. Well, that means busy summer. So
Busy all time. There's no such thing as not busy anymore. You know.
no, fantastic. And but I mean, you're taking some holidays at some point.
Yeah. We definitely. I do a lot of stuff outside. So I do a lot of supboarding and hiking. I spend as much time as I can away from the computer.
Okay.
Started growing my own vegetables this year as well because I need you can't spend too much time. You need some time away. So I disconnect quite a bit.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you, Damien. I mean, it's been amazing. I hope
Yeah,
people
I've loved
enjoy
it.
and feel inspired and contact you and send you, well, maybe some clients, maybe some partners, maybe something. So
Yeah.
let's see,
Look,
let's see what happens.
always say yes. Always have the conversation. Always help.
Okay. Fantastic, Damien. Well, thank you
No
very
worries.
much. And let's
Take care, my
continue.
friend.
Bye bye.
Bye.